Summer came at last. We're in Snetterton, Norfolk. What fantastic weather. You can always tell, can't you, when the weather's good. Look at the bike park. And this is only qualifying day here at Snetterton for round 5 of the Eastern Airways British F1 Sidecar Championship, running, of course, as usual, with British Superbike. They're going to have a capacity crowd here. Look at Snetterton. How fantastic is this? A panorama from our vantage point here, right across the paddock. The Snetterton 300 circuit, one of the best on the calendar that we visit. It's going to be fantastic. By complete contrast, not just the weather, but the terrain. The previous round was Knockhill in Scotland, right north of the border, where the weather was so dismal on Saturday, racing was abandoned. We had 2 races on Sunday, the first of which was pretty much dominated by Tim Reeves, as indeed was the second in fairness, but great racing all the way through the programme. Roger Lovelock had a stand-in passenger from the garage in Knockhill. A guy just turned up on the day, put in a great performance with Roger Lovelock. Andy Peach was going strongly. Sean Hegarty and Callum Lawson were very fast but had no answer for the flying Tim Reeves. But at the end of the day, a terrific last hairpin shunt between Barry James and John Clark almost sent the tumbling passengers right in front of Roger Lovelock. Miraculously, no one was hurt, but it left Reeves sitting on top of the table.
25 points the gap between Reeves and Hegarty. Ben Holland's still very much in touch, but only 4 points clear of Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson. Mark Edwards, Lee Barrett having a tremendous season, but I hear on the grapevine this could be their last year. Lovelock right behind them. Horsepole and Knapton there in 11th. Ricky Steves and Charlwood, if they had any luck at all, it would be bad.
So Tim Reeves and his brother Tristan on top of the pile with that healthy margin, but Sean Hegarty's there. This is his local circuit. Anything could happen, but let's have a look at this wonderful Snetterton 300 circuit with its turns and twists. I've actually been round it on a few laps. I don't say that about many tracks. There's absolutely nowhere to rest at all. So what do the riders have to put up with? Let's take a look.
Well, the lap record here held by the Virtual Boys, 156.164, but up the straight we go. The first right-hander is Rich's, dropping back to about 5th gear round here. Then this is all the old circuit, of course. Along the short dash, you might short shift to 6th, but again, back to 5th, maybe 4th, even possibly 3rd to this long right-hander of Montreal, which swings round and round and round on the straight, hooking 4th again. The next one is Palmer, 3rd gear, left-hander. All of this, of course, the infield section, the new part of this Snetterton 300 circuit. Then there's quite a fast straight, all the way down to the hairpin, possibly 2nd gear, Agostini. And this is a wonderful vantage point for the spectators. They can see everything right in the middle of the circuit here. Out of Agostini, still going left at Hamilton. 4th gear through here, holding 4th, still going left, then up to another tight right-hander. Back to certainly 3rd, possibly 2nd at Oggies. Out of Oggies, another short. Takes an awful lot of remembering, this circuit, I can tell you. Right-hander of Williams. Then, lads, it's head down, behind the bubble, tuck in. The bridge is ahead of you, you can see it. This is the old back straight. The chicane, once you get under the bridge, 150 miles an hour at this point, then back, 3rd gear for Brundle. Into the old bomb hole, renamed, well, Nelson is just ahead of it. This is the bomb hole section. The right-hander here, this is back on the old part of the circuit, although Coram has been reworked. 4th, 5th, might just snatch 6th here, but most of the crews will be around 5th. Coram goes on and on and on forever. Then the left-hander, reworked Murray's 2nd gear, flicking it through, back on the straight. All of that is in about 156. So a quick lap, but what a lap it is.
Snetterton for me is always a very nostalgic place because it was an air base during World War II. The Americans were here, and it looks as though the Americans laid this piece of concrete on the 11th of June 1942. Today, however, it's the Sidecar pit lane, and the outfit's getting readied now. It's just a blaze of colour, a lot of activity in the awnings, because qualifying is next up, the all-important qualifying to define the grid position for race 1 in this fantastic weather on the Snetterton 300 circuit.
Well, if you couldn't go fast around Snetterton in this weather, you were never going to be able to. And most of the crews knew that this was their opportunity to get that vital grid position. And the guy who's running so well on the Kawasaki, Mark Edwards and Lee Barrett, really pushed on, setting some quick laps in the early stages. Tony Brown and Ryan Anderson, new boys to the championship, also acquitted themselves fairly well, but they did express some trepidation coming into this race, and wouldn't you? Sean Hegarty, Callum Lawson, meanwhile, second in the championship, also wanted to get a very good front row start. Pole position would do very nicely for them if they could achieve it, but it was always going to be anything but easy, I can tell you. Ben Holland and Lee Watson, of course, they just had that 4-point gap over the people immediately behind them in the table, so they too were gunning for a strong grid position. Andy Peach, meanwhile, and Roger Lovelock had a terrific battle. Lovelock riding with passenger Aki Alto and making ground in the title, of course, but Lovelock's BMW would be very fast here at Snetterton. This battle proved to be the battle of the front row. Tim Reeves, meanwhile, with a broken gearbox sprocket, retired, so he was destined to start from the back of the grid. Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson, meanwhile, came in early. They considered they'd done enough for pole, and they were not wrong.
L&W Racing's Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson nailed it. Pole position, I have to say, in the absence of Tim Reeves, but that'll do, won't it?
Yeah, I was actually waiting for a tow from Tim, and he didn't appear, so I was quite sort of mystified, and then found out he'd broken down. Happy with pole, 2009 since our last pole, and that didn't go too well, to be fair. So,
is it that 2009? That's an interesting statistic. I'll remember that for commentary.
Yeah, we were actually pole at Thruxton, and we needed 7 points to win the championship, and we were already on pole, and I decided to go back out to go faster and lost Chaz in the process. We didn't race, lost the British Championship, so not the best day.
No, but pole position here on a circuit you obviously go well at, and you love this circuit anyway. Happy with that?
Yeah, very. It couldn't really gone much better when we were out there. Sort of set the time quite early on and just waited in the pits, seeing if anyone's going to go any quicker. Never really happened, so just got to watch it.
So, first pole position since 2009 for Andy Peach. Lovelock, reigning champion, alongside. Hegarty then on row 2 with Ben Holland. That's going to be interesting. Mark Edwards continuing his run of form alongside Barry James. Row 4, Chaplow and new boy Tony Brown, Ryan Anderson there on row 4. Brilliant for them. 7th fastest qualifying. Rupert Archer heads off, well, with Ian Drown alongside him on row 7. New boys there again, Knight and Sam Fishwick, and Cyril there alongside each other, so 2 wild cards there. Reeves at the back.
This massive hydraulic platform is here courtesy of one of Craig Chaplow's new sponsors. I resisted the temptation to do this closing link from up there. It's much safer with me feet on the ground. End of part 1. We're going to take a short break. Join us again after that break. Welcome to an absolutely boiling grid for race 1 here at Snetterton. Temperature on the tarmac, I can tell you, well over 30 degrees. I'm down here on row 4 because that's where we're expecting the best of our wild cards, Tony Brown and Ryan Anderson, to line up. They're not yet hoving into view, but you can see Mark Edwards and Lee Barrett on the Kawasaki. Right behind you, KP, if you swing round, we've got here Barry James and Mark Howard. They were very consistent. They've been getting better and better all season. It seems like they're a good pairing, so a lot to expect for them. Up ahead of us, of course, we've got the front row, Andy Peach and Roger Lovelock, but coming through to take place 4th fastest qualifier, Sean Hegarty and Callum Lawson, the number 33 Q8 Oils. Number 32 Gary Horsepole had some problems, but he's got it fixed. Ben Holland and Lee Watson on the Finning Cat Suzuki coming into place, and Tony Brown is right there at the back of the grid. Craig Chaplow and John Briggs, new passenger this weekend because Kees Endervelt is having an operation to relieve arm pump up. I think we should move through a little bit now, KP, but here we have it. Tony Brown and Ryan Anderson, fastest of our qualifiers. They qualified 7th. Fastest of the wildcards. What a great performance from them. So I think you should move through, but don't trip over the Mark Edwards outfit. Going into the sun, not a good idea for you. Barry James, as I say. The Finning Cat Suzuki Ben Holland, Lee Watson looking calm, Sean Hegarty, Callum Lawson. At the sharp end, Andy Peach, pole position, number 4 on this L&W Suzuki LCR. Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson, pole position, chased all the way by Roger Lovelock. And new passenger for the rest of the season, fingers crossed, Aki Alto, the Finnish passenger. That BMW is quick. You wouldn't bet on it. But from the back of the grid, Tim Reeves, the man on a mission, qualified last because he had a mechanical problem. He'll be coming from the back. Do not bet against Tim Reeves.
Well, looking back down the grid there, you would wonder how the Dickens Tim Reeves would make his way through the traffic, because it's not the widest start-finish straight in the world here at Snetterton, and he's right at the back, so it's going to be interesting to see how he makes any progress, because the BMW of Roger Lovelock and the L&W Suzuki of Andy Peach there from the front, and away we go, the lights have changed, they are off. Peach then already scything his way through. I can see him on the left, on the right. There's Tony Brown in the middle. Who's got the whole shot? It's Sean Hegarty. Hegarty from Lovelock. Mark Edwards was up to 3rd. Andy Peach down in 4th by the look of it. It is 4th for Andy Peach, and there, oh, look at that. Tony Brown going through. Tim Reeves right in the bunch there, so he's already gobbled up half the pack. Tim and Tristan Reeves from the back of the grid, championship leaders by 25 points. It's Hegarty, Roger Lovelock, Aki Alto in 2nd, Mark Edwards, Lee Barrett in 3rd. Now, if Hegarty can get the breakaway, that's what he'll be thinking. The number 33 Q8 Oils outfit. Let's make the most of this while Tim Reeves is fighting his way through the traffic. And of course, the further up the pack Tim Reeves goes, the more difficult it will be. There's your top 3. There's 4th. 5th, Tony Brown. 6th, Barry James. Oh! Barry James kicking up some dirt there. Ran a little bit wide on the left-hander on the infield. Rupert Archer. Jason Grimes, a massive spin. That looked like Simon Gilbert. And how well did Rupert Archer do to avoid that? Wow. We're not even into the race proper yet, and we've got terrific action. 2nd place, Lovelock, number 1. 3rd, there's 4th, Andy Peach. Mark Edwards on the Kawasaki. Such tragic news that this pairing might have to retire due to financial constraints. They've just about remortgaged the house, sold the car, sold the cat, sold the dog, sold the lot to keep this outfit going, and it can't go on. And you understand that, can't you? Sean Hegarty, Callum Lawson. Lawson moving really well out over the left-hander. So, completion of the lap. Up the straight they come. And the Lawson pit crew absolutely leaping up and down here, because if they don't do it now, they're never going to do it. 2nd place, Lovelock. 3rd, Edwards. 4th, Peach. Is he going to go for 3rd here? Yes, he does. Through goes Andy Peach. Up underneath Mark Edwards. Charlie Richardson's leg waving in front of the onboard camera. 3rd place now then, L&W's Peach from pole position. Still 4th. You'd expect to see Tim Reeves anytime soon. Coming into the pits, oh, this is Craig Chaplow retiring. Johnny Briggs, passenger for the weekend. So Craig Chaplow out of it.
Is that where he stopped? Yeah.
Having a bit of a discussion in the pits. I couldn't really hear what they were saying anyway, partly because I was talking, but occupational hazard, that is. Lovelock, Aki Alto, such a likeable lad. This guy jumps on an aeroplane, comes over here every week. Is that Tim Reeves right behind Barry James? Barry James is in there looking strong, I think in 5th position. We're looking at the 4th place man now. Yes, it's Barry James, and it looks as though Tim and Tristan Reeves are right behind Barry James and Mark Howard. There they go. They're the world champions, current world champions, on board with the BMW, Driver Wolf Racing BMW of Lovelock. It is very quick in a straight line. That's about 150 miles an hour just before they come down to the chicane there. And it's, from the passenger's point of view, they're about 3 inches off the ground. In fact, you've got a passenger's eye view from our onboard camera, situated in the nose cone of the sidecar. There's Reeves, Tim Reeves, number 77. Tim and Tristan Reeves up behind Mark Edwards now, going round the outside, diving up the inside at the left-hander. They are now up to 4th place. Barry James and Mark Howard riding really strongly. The 112 outfit there, just going out of shot. John Cable Racing sponsors Barry James, keeps him on the track, and he's having a good season. He's repaying the faith of John Cable and the investment. Tim and Tristan Reeves then. Shortly after this, they leave to go to the Isle of Man for the Southern 100, or Tim does. Tristan won't be racing with him. It'll be Dan Sale, I guess, in the F2 outfit for the Isle of Man. Race leader, Hegarty and Lawson. Second place, number 1, Driver Wolf BMW, Roger Lovelock, Aki Alto. Third place, L&W Suzuki, Andy Peach, Charlie Richardson. Look at the big bump on the back of that BMW. That's the very tall airbox on the S1000RR BMW. All these engines stock form. Tim Reeves now finding Andy Peach a bit more of a challenge. The SMT Racing Suzuki working out of the Superbike garages here in pit lane at Snetterton. So it's the first time we've had an F1 Sidecar outfit in the official garages on pit lane, and I think it says everything. Andy Peach then under some threat now because Tim Reeves is alongside. Is he going to do him on the brakes? Out they go for the left-hander, and through go Tim and Tristan Reeves. So another box ticked. Moving further up the grid then, up the race order, should I say. There's your race leader, Sean Hegarty, Callum Lawson, looking now for the BMW. Oh, the BMW, the reigning champion, has got the world champion right behind him with a huge amount of intent. And I think the wily old Roger Lovelock, not for nothing is he reigning British champion. He's going to be a more difficult kettle of fish for Tim Reeves. And the BMW is quick in a straight line. And there you saw just how quick it was. Tim Reeves moved across for the passing manoeuvre, but there was no way through, and there's no way through either at Rich's, because Roger Lovelock slammed the door shut. This has given Andy Peach an opportunity to close and hang in with the world champion. Everybody getting a good view of this on pit walls, so a great deal of excitement down there. Blow by blow, the encounter unfolding in front of the race leader's pit crew. Dan Knight and Sam Fishwick, another new pairing, sadly retiring their outfit from this one, but they've been going very, very well indeed. Their chassis is an RSR, as indeed is the outfit of James Cyril. Rudy Schmidt Racing, a new chassis builder into the championship, and the plan is for 2014 that James Cyril and Dan Knight, I've got to hold that in a minute because there's a lot going on here, will be running a two-bike team on Rudy Schmidt Racing chassis. So that is good for the championship. It's not all LCR, or it certainly won't be in 2014. And we've got a couple of RSRs here. Here we go then. Is Reeves going to do it this time? Lining up Lovelock. Oh, Roger Lovelock just hanging on. And Tim Reeves knows that Roger Lovelock is not going to give ground easily. He's going to have to pass him cleanly and at great speed, get it done quickly, because Roger Lovelock means to hang on to second place. This is an enthralling battle for the runner-up spot. Second place on the podium, he's got him, he's lined up the inside. Tristan is out and Tim Reeves is through. Up to second then, Tim and Tristan Reeves. Look how close Andy Peach is. He's got second wind. You could get all three of this in the back of a 7.5 tonner. Look at them, up the straight they go. Andy Peach lining up the inside of Roger Lovelock, and he's going to do it. He's going to do it. So Roger Lovelock has lost 2 places in one fell swoop. The red light glowing on the back of Tim Reeves' outfit. Now the interesting thing is, has he got enough left to wind in the race leader? Gary Horsepole, Paul Napton retiring. They've just about had enough of that Honda. The Honda is giving mechanical problems, electronics problems. I think we could see a change of engine for Gary Horsepole in the 2014 season. Not best pleased with the CBR 1000 Honda. Some of these engines lend themselves to sidecars, some don't. James Cyril on the other RSR. James Cyril Steve Ware on the passenger, 195. A bit of body damage there. They need to get the fairing tidied up, and they know they will do that. A certain standard of excellence is required in the Eastern Airways British F1 Sidecar Championship, and all of these crews have risen to the occasion magnificently in terms of their turnout, their professionalism, their attitude and their behavior in the paddock. Take note, World Superbike MotoGP, because this is where sidecars should be running with you guys. Here we are though with BSB, of course, the top championship in the UK, and very pleased to be here. The crowd here comparing very well with the halcyon years of British Superbike and World Superbike at Brands Hatch in the Carl Fogarty era, dare I say. Certainly a massive turnout here. Back on board with Rupert Archer, Jason Grimes, the number 70 Hannafin Racing LCR. That's Roger Body and Jamie Wynn going past. Roger Body prepares a quick engine. Series organizer and promoter, not sure whether he's going to ride in 2014. A tall order in actual fact, running a championship and competing in it. Fastest lap, 155.837. That is a new lap record. 156.1, the Birchells held it, so it's a new lap record here. Tim Reeves in the 55s, that is sensational. Hegarty and Lawson, how far behind is Reeves? Well, not far, with the sidecar wheel waving in the air. Tim Reeves arguably having the best season of his career in 2013. No, he's not in the World Championship. He didn't defend it this year. He's the reigning champion, but he decided that the place to be was here in the domestic Eastern Airways season. And apart from, well, he's doing a flawless job at the moment, apart from this one where he's not leading the race, but from the back of the grid, it's nothing short of a magnificent performance. Ticked another box with an Isle of Man TT victory this year, Tim Reeves, so it is indeed a golden year for him, 2013. Hegarty and Lawson, meanwhile, forcing on. They've got clear tarmac. They can only keep on pushing, ride cleanly, make no mistakes, because Sean Hegarty very well aware that the slightest slip and Tim Reeves will be on him. The pit board will be telling him what the gap is, and the gap is coming down with one lap of the Snetterton 300 circuit to do. Callum Lawson is going to have the ride of his life now on the back there, and the youngster is doing a great job. And I'd like to put a few quid on. We'll see Callum Lawson glance over his shoulder, because he does look backwards occasionally. There was a bit of a sideways tilt of the head there through the dark visor, just to see how close the opposition is. Callum will be thinking, are we going to be able to do it? Are we going to be able to do it? Can we keep it going? Come on, Sean. Come on, Sean. His head will be working overtime, I can tell you. And Tim Reeves will be thinking, I don't think I'm close enough. This is the Lawson pit wall monitor. They're holding their breaths, I tell you. They are really, really holding on. Everybody willing Sean Hegarty towards this victory. Not because they don't want Tim Reeves to win, but it's going to close down the championship, take another 5 points out of Tim Reeves' lead if he can hold it on till the end. On that very, very, very fast straight now. Away we go, down towards the left-hander. This is where Tim Reeves' Suzuki is so quick, but he's not managed to close it up. I tell you where he is good, though. It could all come down to the left-hander at Murray's, the final left-hander before the sprint to the line. We're out the back now through the bomb hole, out round Coram. Tim Reeves is fast round here. There's Hegarty, race leader, tail ender ahead of him, but I don't think they're going to play a part. No, Tim Reeves is too far back. He's not going to be able to do anything. This looks like Sean Hegarty has got this one sewn up. Rod Robinson and Nick Webb just avoid being lapped as up the straight they come, tucking down behind the bubble. Tim Reeves giving it everything he can, getting the suck off the pit wall, but it's not enough. Hegarty gets the victory from Tim Reeves. Absolutely brilliant. Look at Callum Lawson, ecstatic with joy. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. So, a first win in 2013 for Sean Hegarty and Callum Lawson. Race time almost 20 minutes in this sun, exhausting. Andy Peach, final place on the podium. Tim Reeves, 6.6 of a second adrift. Lovelock got 4th. Edwards, Barry James, Tony Brown, Ryan Anderson, 7th place for the former BMCRC runners, up to the Premier League. Good for them.
I'm going to get him before he gets out of the outfit. Sean Hegarty, race face on. What a fantastic result that was. You must be thrilled.
It's bloody hard work, sorry for swearing, but that is hard. I knew Tim was going to be on my case, so we just tried to get away on the start, and sure enough, Tim's on my case at the end of the race.
Yeah, but you found something. In the last 2 laps, you must have got your pit board, so you found something and you stretched the gap. It was 1.2 going into the last lap, and you held that advantage.
I know he's at the back of the grid, but it's still achieving to beat the fella. I'm chuffed a bit. Don't know what to say, really. I'm lost for words for change.
Everybody on the pit wall was rooting. Where's Callum? He's over there somewhere. He'll be speechless. Nonetheless, we're going to make our way down. We're going to get Callum. Callum, come in. Fantastic result. I know he was on you, but you kept it going.
Yeah, I'll take that 5 points back, innit? More tomorrow.
Wonderful. You must be buzzing.
Yeah, I can't wait now for tomorrow.
Brilliant. Well, you can see the atmosphere down here. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm going to move across because Tris, first of all, Tris from the back of the grid. That was an heroic fight, Did you think you were going to catch him, or did you think he might just hold it off?
Yeah, we knew it was going to be hard. If Sean could get away, we knew it was going to be tricky once we got through everyone. It took us 2 or 3 laps to get through. We could see him in the distance. I think if we'd had another probably lap or 2, maybe we could have had a go at him sin. But no, it's good ride. I'm happy with Sean and Callum making the win.
Wonderful.
Makes it good, yeah.
Wonderful. Tim, you've always said that if he had the slightest chance, he'd take it, and you gave him the whole grid's chance.
Can I say what, 10 rows?
But you were nearly on him.
10 rows, flipping hell. Yeah, no, it's all right. It's good crack, innit? I know if he got away and lead it, it'd be aggro trying to get him, but yeah, it's good fun, isn't it? I enjoyed it.
Well, the other guys fought hard as well. It wasn't that easy getting past Lovelock and Peachy.
No, not at all. They're all fast lads, aren't they? The top 5 or 6 now, and Peachy's getting faster and Lovelock's getting quicker. And we're a bit unfortunate with Ben Holland. He broke down, unfortunately. I chose to go around the outside of him and he broke down and ran right across the front of me, so it doesn't matter, does it? It's good fun. I'm glad they had a win, and we'll have a bit of a battle tomorrow, eh?
Tell you what, Tim, great result. Well done. Congratulations. Andy Peach, got a bottle of water here. What a fantastic ride that was as well. Roger Lovelock proved to be hard work.
Yeah, I had a terrible start and Mark Edwards forced me wide on the first bend and I just lost so much ground. It took me a long time to get, Tim got past me before I got past Lovelock, and then I sort of dragged past, but I'd shot my tyre by then, so I just settled for 3rd place, couldn't do anything more.
Shot your tyre, shot your bolt.
Yeah, afraid so.
Brilliant, well done, Andy. Now, where's Charlie? Is he around here somewhere? He's probably hiding. Well, look, brilliant. Those are your top 3. You can see we missed Charlie Richardson, doesn't matter. That was a fantastic race, a great achievement, and there's another one to come, another 10-lapper in the sun. It's been an absolutely glorious day here. It's late on Sunday. Race 2 for the Sidecars, 10 laps over this Snetterton 300 circuit. The track temperature, I can tell you, is about 40 degrees. Waiting now for the crews to line up, and of course we've got a pole position man in the shape of Sean Hegarty, who took the first race win. Hotly chased from the back of the grid by Tim Reeves and Tristan Reeves, who will line up. Let's walk down this way a little bit. They'll line up on the front row alongside Hegarty. But it was a great battling 3rd and 4th between Andy Peach and the reigning champion Roger Lovelock, with Aki Alto in the chair of the BMW. Peach on the Suzuki, of course. Charlie Richardson, his passenger. Then behind him, the number 8 Kawasaki of Mark Edwards. Barry James, number 112, alongside him. Here come Tim and Tristan Reeves. The surprise of the race, though, if we can just look straight down there, KP, in the middle, number 57, Tony Brown and Ryan Anderson. Wildcards from BMC, they finished 7th. It's a 10-lapper in the sun here at Snetterton, a fantastic prospect. And I can tell you, it is hot. It is unbelievably hot. Look at the shimmering heat haze across the tarmac here at Snetterton. Unbelievably warm. So you want to keep these guys hanging around as little as possible. Green flag at the back. Red flag moves away. Watch the lights then. So Hegarty from pole position with Tim Reeves alongside. Hegarty's quick off the line, but Tim Reeves will actually get his nose in front if he can from the inside. At the back of the grid there, Ben Holland and Lee Watson, who had a very early retirement in race 1,
in, and we didn't even see them during the race because they went off and that was it. Their race was over, so they've got a huge amount of work to do from the back of the grid. Meanwhile, Tim Reeves then from second place slots ahead at the start. There's the Finning Cat Suzuki of Holland and Watson at the back, going wide round the outside. The Reeves boys lead. Hegarty Lawson in second. Then in third, it's Roger Lovelock and Aki Alto on board with Ben Holland and Lee Watson. They have really got to make up some ground because they gave away everything in the first race with a 0 points score. A lot of clutch problems. That was actually their problem. They cooked the clutch off the line. Tim Reeves said that he had a cooked clutch by the end of the race. So at least 4 outfits have retired with clutch problems. A combination of the heat, the amount of grip offered by these huge rear slicks. When they go off the line, they dump the clutch, and of course, it's an unforgiving rear tyre, so the poor old clutch works overtime. Simon Gilbert going out of it, and Jed Pillmore Brady hands in the air. So the saga of unreliability for Simon Gilbert goes on, although he did get a finish in race 1. Ben Holland and Lee Watson alongside Tony Brown and Ryan Anderson. Let's have a look at the style of these boys. They know each other quite well too. Tony Brown, I think one of the bright prospects for the future in this Eastern Airways Championship, but of course another crew struggling to fund their racing. This is an extremely expensive sport, as indeed is all forms of motorsport, are all forms of motorsport, shall I say. Sean Hegarty Sr. there on the pit wall, waving the boys on. Lovelock holding on to third. Is it going to be on the podium with Aki Alto? That will be good news. Not good news for Andy Peach, of course, who's in 4th place at the moment on the L&W Suzuki. But Lovelock's BMW is quick. And this pairing, of course, riding together for the first time, need to find out how each other works. Aki Alto much, much lighter. Look at Peach! Look at Peach ducking left, ducking right, trying to find a way through. We're looking at Aki Alto, the Finnish passenger at the moment. Much lighter than Rick Lawrence, Lovelock's regular passenger for so many seasons. So they need to get the hang of each other. 5th place Mark Edwards, 6th place Barry James, up to 7th. Ben Holland and Lee Watson on the Finning Cat Suzuki. They're up to 7th. Race leader though, Reeves. Hegarty going with him. He has not dropped him away. Tim and Tristan Reeves, number 77, reigning world champions, away in the lead. It's a much closer fought battle. Holland and Watson just a little bit off the back of Barry James. The 3 crews that have come up to the Premier League, as it were, from the Club Championship, all doing a good job today. The best of all, Tony Brown and Ryan Anderson. Fantastic result for them. 7th in the first race, 7th in qualifying. They are really mixing it here. And in the last club meeting, Tony Brown did a 2-minute lap. Look how close Hegarty is, though. Enough for Tony Brown. Let's get back to the race at the front. Tim Reeves now under a push, a serious push from the Q8 Oils, number 33 Suzuki of Sean Hegarty. How much would Hegarty love to beat Tim Reeves from behind? That would be good. That would prove everything. Look at this, Peach and Lovelock side by side. This the battle for 3rd place. But again, the BMW of Lovelock holding off on the brakes. 2 vastly contrasting lines there. Lovelock went in tight, drifted wide. Peach went in wide and came out tight. The result being he's now as close as he's been. Let's have a look. We're on the back straight. Let's see how fast it goes down here. Oh, dear me. Fantastic stuff. Behind them, the battle still raging between Mark Edwards and Barry James. Barry James with Mark Howard, serving soldier in the Sidecar, forging a strong relationship. There, Ben Holland, Lee Watson in 7th. This the battle for 3rd and 4th. Meanwhile, at the front, Reeves galloping away. Sean Hegarty still going with him, although just being dropped away. Timing screen telling me that the gap is widening. This battle is closing up. If Ben Holland and Lee Watson can just get in touch, they're going to be in the mix here. Riding currently in a 10-point position, Barry James. 9 points for Ben Holland at the moment. Andy Peach, though, has got past Roger Lovelock and is up to third. Lovelock then in fourth place. Is it going to be a repeat podium for Peach? Fifth, Mark Edwards, Lee Barrett. Sixth, Barry James, Mark Howard. A good scrap in the higher order here. James in sixth, and there in seventh place and closing, Ben Holland and Lee Watson. They are getting in touch, and that's what they need to do. There's a bit of a gap between them and the eighth place outfit coming around. Tony Brown and Ryan Anderson now up to eighth. Well, seventh in the first race. Look at this. James going past Mark Edwards. Barry James past Mark Edwards. So that will probably drop the Kawasaki back into the clutches of Ben Holland. Hegarty as much in touch as ever here in second place, putting the sidecar wheel right across the grass. Tim Reeves blistering on there, another fastest lap, but just 1/100th of a second slower than the lap record he set in race one. But that'll do nicely. Just shows you how quickly Hegarty is motoring here, because he's staying in touch. Every bit as close now, and he's so quick on the brakes. He closes up on the brakes, really trying everything he knows now. Sean Hegarty, number 33 on the Q8 Oils Suzuki, sponsored as well by Sean Hegarty Senior, and of course Lawson Road Planing. John Lawson, father of Callum, the sidecar passenger, and a great party atmosphere with these two families in the pits, I can tell you. There'll be a party tonight if they can pull off a win here, but Tim Reeves, Tristan Reeves have their eyes firmly set on the top step of the podium. It's so good to see these brothers reunited, and looking forward to the upcoming Goodwood Festival, where they are running their LCR up the hill for the first time together. Hopefully we'll get a repeat of this weekend's weather at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, but here we are then. Now, Hegarty just dropped back a little bit. I think Tim Reeves, with that measured look over the shoulder, knows he's done enough. And into the pits, Sean Hegarty and Callum Lawson into the pits, retiring. Oh, what a disappointment. This surely is not a passenger, no, it isn't a passenger problem. Callum Lawson furious. This is a mechanical retirement. Hand in the air. Oh, dear me. Well, that's left it for Tim Reeves now. He's got a country mile between himself and the new second place man, which will be Andy Peach. Look at the lead he has. Tim and Tristan can really back it off now and bring this thing home. Massive, massive. There's Andy Peach just appearing into view. Reeves around Agostini. Roger Lovelock up to third. Look at the battle for fourth. Fourth place now. Ben Holland and Lee Watson go past the Barry James and Mark Howard outfit. So from the back of the grid, Ben Holland and Lee Watson on the Fitting Cat Suzuki are up to fourth. Are they going to make it one step further and maybe get a podium place? Riding, oh, spin! What am I talking about? Is that the commentator's curse or what? Oh, Ben, come on, come on, come on. Just went in there too hot. The back let go. A big puff of dust. And from fourth place, they've spun not out of the action, but further down the order. Up to fourth, Barry James. Up to fifth again, Mark Edwards. Now regaining their composure. Sixth place again for Ben Holland and Lee Watson. If your school report says anything, Ben, it will be must try harder, but not too hard. Oh, well, they're still in the points. They're in a 10-point position here. Do not, whatever you do, throw that away. Come on, boys. Rod Robinson, Nick Webb retiring from the action. That's a shame. Andy Peach, Charlie Richardson forcing on here. They're having a good, solid season. You know, if you take Tim Reeves out of the equation, which of course you can't do because he's contesting the whole series, Andy Peach is a real front runner here. Rupert Archer, Jason Grimes, mechanical retirement. They're taking the back door to the pits. Welcome back to a fantastically hot Snetterton with Tim Reeves scorching away in this race 2 here. Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson doing a fantastically strong job in second, having dispatched Roger Lovelock and Aki Alto at about 1/3 distance. You can just imagine how warm it is under the front of that bike, where Peach is, I can tell you, his hands are down, tucked under the face, sitting across the exhaust pipes. His hands are by the front wheel, off which comes a temperature of about 300 degrees centigrade from the front disc. There he is in second place. Lovelock, Edwards, brilliant fourth. Barry James, Ben Holland, Tony Brown, Ryan Anderson seventh, again ahead of Craig Chaplow and Johnny Briggs. What's in there? Obviously took a mouse with them and it chewed its way out halfway through, just peering through the hole there. That's Dan Knight and Sam Fishwick retiring their RSR. And race leader Tim and Tristan Reeves on their way to 25 points here. Now there's no threat at all from Hegarty. This will really open up the championship. Hegarty in the pit lane. A mechanical problem, and I can tell you what it is: a broken gear lever. Something as simple as that. A broken gear lever sidelined Sean Hegarty and Callum Lawson. So somewhere there'll be a welder feeling very sorry for himself. Well, that's racing. Off comes a tear-off from Tim Reeves. Just look how immaculate that SMT Racing Suzuki is. Consummate professionals, this pair. Very well turned out, immaculately presented. And I just wonder if Tim Reeves were running in the World Championship this year, what success would the others have? The Birchells, of course, having taken a win this year, which has put them right back on track in the World Championship, which is good for them. And they certainly needed that. It could be that Tim and Tristan Reeves turn out later in the season just to contest one of the World Championship rounds, just to pit themselves against Jörg Steinhausen, Pavarinta and the Birchells. Those basically the top 3 in the series at the moment in the world. But this is where the action is. The Eastern Airways British F1 Sidecar Championship, without a shadow of a doubt the best domestic sidecar racing championship in the world, and actually challenges and rivals the World Series itself for its strength in depth and the level of competition further down the field. Last lap tour then of the Snetterton 300 circuit for Tim and Tristan Reeves. Round the chicane for the last time, a leisurely look back over the shoulder, and Tim won't know what's happened to Sean Hegarty and Callum Lawson. The checkered flag is his. Look how closely he kisses the pit wall. Andy Peach gets second, a long way ahead of the Driver Wolf BMW of Roger Lovelock and Aki Alto, but they've done a good job. They're on the podium. Over they go. Fourth place, Barry James. He'll be thrilled with that, but no doubting a supreme display, recovering from second place in race 1 to lift the victory in race 2. Tim and Tristan Reeves, that will march them on in the title. There's your podium, Peach and Lovelock completing it. James, Edwards, Ben Holland stayed in 6, could have been 4th, but he spun out. Tony Brown and Ryan Anderson, wonderful for them. Chaplow and Briggs made it through from Ian Drown. And 11th place for James Cyril and Steve Wareham. They'll be thrilled too, good for them.
I wanted to talk to race winners Tim and Tristan Reeves, but they're dashing off to the Southern 100 in the Isle of Man, so they're not available. Andy Peach, runner-up, is having his engine stripped under our technical rules, so he's not available. But I thought, here we are at the halfway point of the season. This is a really good opportunity to talk to series organiser and promoter Roger Body, because, Roger, we saw this weekend for the first time 3 wildcards from your BMCRC racing programme. Are things moving in the direction you hoped?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they were on the pace. Tony Brown in particular, I think he finished 7th in the first one. So, Yeah, I think everything is going as we planned. It was a 3-year plan, and we're now actually in the 4th year. But there's lots of people ready to come up from next year, and you know we've got some foreign entries for next year. So yeah, I think it's going well. You just need a major sponsor now. That's it'll be good.
Yeah, well, that's a great message for anybody out there, and you must have great satisfaction seeing where it's come from. But of course, you've invested a huge amount of personal effort and money to get it this far.
Yeah, I think some of the satisfaction today was to see the spectators stay on. You know, it was just good to see them out there. You know, and normally I've been racing a long time, and sidecars are genuinely last race because of the history. But for now, that's not the reason we're going out last. The reason we're going out now is because we can get live TV. You know, obviously suits our ambitions. But to see the crowd stay on was very encouraging for me. You know?
Well, thanks, Roger. Well, we're on home ground for you, moving into the second half of the season. Brands Hatch, looking forward to that, obviously.
Yeah, really, yeah. Lots of friends, lots of sponsors. So, yeah, Brands will be good. Weather like this will be excellent.
Here. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks.
What a cracking bloke he is, Roger Body. Without him, we wouldn't be here, I can tell you that. That goes for all of us. Reeves won 45 points now ahead of Hegarty. Peach there. Quite a gap down to Ben Holland now. He's got some work to do when we get to Brands. Lovelock in 6th, but closing all the time. I wonder if York Steinhausen and Greg Clues are coming back. Well, they've parted company, so I doubt it. Ricky Stevens' mechanical woes go on and on. He's in 12th, but look at that. In 18th, new boy Tony Brown. Fantastic result for them. Well done, lads.
Well, that's it from round 5 of the Eastern Airways British F1 Sidecar Championship from Snetterton. I do hope you enjoyed it. The weather certainly helps. Everybody was in great form, the spectators, the organisers, the teams. I think they delivered cracking racing. The next round comes from Brands Hatch, and I gather we've got a mixture of short circuit and the international circuit action. So that's going to be very, very interesting indeed. Don't miss that race, round 6, whatever you do. Thanks for watching, and as usual, bye-bye from me.